Hey there, everyone. This is Dr. Gwen, and I am coming to you late this afternoon, 18 minutes late to be exact. And this is one of those days when I think the topic is so completely suited to the events that have been happening. Now, I was actually in the process of creating a live cast so that you could be able to interact with me. So I was setting up some software, and it looks like the whole process wasn't complete. So when I clicked on go live at 3 p.m., nothing happened. So I scrambled back to go to my regular Facebook live cast screen, and it says unable to find the camera. Well, in fact, the camera is connected. Went into Chrome to try to fix all of that stuff, and still says the camera is not connected. So now here I am on my tablet coming to you today, and I am saying all of that because our topic today has to deal with when things don't seem to go the way it should. And I put that in quotation marks because should is a conversation that we tend to trap ourselves in. So we'll talk more about that. But anyway, I just want to welcome you today to the live cast, and I hope that you had the most amazing weekend. And it is also my desire that tomorrow, July 4th, will be that day for you when you get to throw up your legs, relax, have some really great family time, and some real good appetizing meals as well. I am Dr. Gwen, the host of the Dr. Gwen podcast show on iTunes, and I bring you Empowering Reflections, which is my weekly broadcast on Monday afternoons at 3 p.m. Now, my broadcast is completely intended to inspire you, to empower you to live a very powerful life. And I like to focus on life itself because, as I always say, nothing happens outside of you having a life that is whole. If your life is not fulfilled and wholesome, then you will not be having a wonderful experience. Now, I am coming also without scripts today. Normally, I like to put a little bit of bullets of reminders so that I know what to touch on. Never writing out everything word for word, but a little bit of bullet. But today, no bullet, so I am completely coming off the top of my head. And through divine inspiration, I hope that you will get the impetus, the challenge perhaps to your current situation that you're facing that will cause you to turn it around to something being a little more positive. So my event about the camera not working out is one of those events about contraction and expansion. So that's what I want to talk with you about today. Contraction and expansion. Now we know the word contraction to mean closing in and expansion to mean filling out. And in life is filled with contractions and expansions. And the way you view those circumstances will actually determine the quality of your life. This week, I had an event that happened that was completely less than favorable. It was very, very painful, a painful experience that I was encountering without even having to get into any details of that. I'm going to share with you a strategy that I used that helped me to stay on top of everything. Didn't mean that the sadness didn't come in, didn't mean that all of the pain didn't come in, but I will share with you a little later what I did to weather that storm. So in looking in your life today, what may be going on in your life? What may be going on in your career or your business? Is everything turning out the way that you feel that it should? And when we say it should, oftentimes we lock ourselves into a way that things need to look. And when we do that, that's when we set ourselves up for the greatest disappointments. Being free to flow with whatever shows up in your life is going to be a major feather in your cap, in your success cap. If you can be open to whatever is showing up, knowing that whatever shows up is completely what is supposed to happen and completely for your best and highest good. And I pause a little bit for that, for you to absorb that. Because we feel like happiness is something that happens to us. And happiness is something that comes from the external factors that feed us. But I want to invite you today to look at happiness from a completely different perspective, that it is sourced from within, and that it's completely your view of how those things are happening to you. You can find two people who are in the exact same situation, and yet one of them is complaining and hurting and being completely miserable about it, and the other person is being quite pleasant and quite understanding and feeling quite satisfied in the face of all that is happening. I'm going to adjust my camera a little bit. And you will find that whatever happens to you is not the thing that causes you to be happy or sad. It's not. It is just simply the way you view things that cause you to be happy or sad. If you take a different perspective on life and you understand that those contraction times, when they come and they're not according to the way you were expecting things to be, if you look at it as the end of the world, or my God, I'm having such a terrible day, or how could this happen to me, then you're setting yourself up to experience more pain and more dissatisfaction and trapped energies within your body, which would probably manifest as physical hurts and psychological harm for you in the long run. So what am I really saying? I am saying that when those times of contraction come, when the things don't turn out the way that you feel like it should, then you need to just go with the flow. Go with the flow of the event and participate in that activity full out. Participation doesn't mean that if someone is harming you, you're going to stay in it and be harmed. No, that's not what it means. But what it means is you understanding that you, in that particular moment, have no control over what is occurring. You can't control somebody else's actions. You can't control what happens outside of you. But as long as your circumstance is something that you can control, then don't stay in the harm. Don't stay in the pain. Move yourself away. But if you cannot change those circumstances, there is a way to get in there so that you can experience so much more satisfaction and pleasure. And what I am going to share with you is completely counter to what your body tells you. See, when you get into that feeling of complete contraction, you want to run the opposite way. Some people go to the bottle and they drink alcohol. Some people go to the drugs and they smoke whatever it is. Some people take pills. Some people go party all day long. Some people just escape doing all kinds of activities so that their minds are not focusing on the hurt and the pain. But what I'm going to invite you to do is to do the opposite. I'm not talking about, once again, I need to make sure that I'm clarifying that I am not talking about when someone is bringing you physical harm. You don't need to stay in that situation. But let's say something has happened and it's eating at your soul and you feel completely angry about it. You feel so contracted and you feel so consumed and you feel like your day is not going good. It's going horrible and your whole day and everything in it is spoiled. You can't do anything. What I invite you to do is to find a quiet spot where you can bring to focus what that scene was, what that scenario was, what that incident was that caused you the pain in the first place. And I want you to sit and to be with it, just to welcome it, not trying to change it, not trying to transform it, not trying to make it go away, but just to be with it. That's counterintuitive to what your body wants. And sometimes you try to be with that, and what actually happens is that your mind, your subconscious, wanting to keep you from feeling that pain, dives in and counteracts your attempt at feeling the pain. And so there's this tug of war that's going on where you can't really concentrate on whatever it is. So whatever it is, that pain, that anger, that fear, that grief, focus in on it and just imagine the scenario, going through it again and again, and you just allowing that pain, allowing that anger, allowing that grief to run its full course. That is the strategy that I use when I get into a place of contraction. I don't try to go in and change the circumstance immediately if it's something I have no control over. I be with it. I let it run its course, and there's amazing freedom that happens. I call this process my surrender for freedom process. Just surrender and let it run its course, focusing right there where you feel it in your body. And eventually what actually happens is it dissipates. And that frees you so that now you're not carrying that anger around in your spirit and in your soul and in your body that's going to manifest as illness later on, or that's going to manifest as a trigger when someone says or does something that brings you back to that original event that caused you to feel that way in the first place. Contraction is a regular part of life. It happens. It happens. And I would not be honest and complete with you if I told you that when those contracting moments happen, you're going to be on top of the world. No, you're not. You're going to feel the sadness. You're going to feel the pain. You're going to feel the grief. You're going to feel the anger. And the important thing is to feel it and to be able to choose your next action. I'm not always good at that because sometimes I will lash out, right? To stop the pain or to feel better. But gradually, what I am actually doing is learning to embrace this process. It is such a powerful process. It has been such an amazingly powerful process in my own personal life. And you will always have things that crop up that's going to bring in that contracting moment. And the thing to do is to stay alive in the moment, being with it, and regulating your thoughts so that it doesn't bring you down into a spiral where you stay depressed for an extended period of time. Now, this could be in your life. This could be in your relationships. This could be in your career or business. And as a career and a business coach and a life coach, I want to encourage you to look for those times in your life when you feel like a contraction is happening. And instead of running the opposite way, just be with it. Just entertain it. It'll resolve itself as long as you stay with it, with positive thoughts, no resistance, no trying to make it go away, no pushing it away, no being uncomfortable in your thoughts, just relaxing and being with it. Now those moments that are expansion moments will come much quicker if you learn to participate in that process I just described for you. And those expansion moments are moments that we love. They cause us to feel happy, joyous, expansive, and celebratory. And I will say that even in the contracting moments, you can feel joy. It's not a state of complete abandonment and rejection. It's not, at least not for me. I know it is a phase in life. I know just like inhaling and exhaling, it's a phase in life, and I have to go through it. It's life itself. And because I know that, when those moments come, I know they will not last forever. And I make sure I go into my cocoon and I do my process that helps me to get past that moment so that I can be expanded again. Now, what are you experiencing at this particular time that you may think is a moment of contraction? Are you allowing that moment to suck you under? Are you allowing it to suck you under in your business? Is everything going right for you in your business? Are you making the money you feel like you need to make? Are you serving the customers you feel like you need to serve? Are you finding your audience the way you feel like you need to find them? If not, deal with the emotions that come with it. And then get right back up again and start over. It's not time to drop on your face and fall flat and say, I want to die and quit. Because really that's the only time in life that you will ever fail, when you quit. But if you get right back up again, when things don't seem to be going the way you feel like they should, and you try one more time, every time, one more time, incessantly not giving up, the only way you can fail is if you give up. The only way you can succeed is if you keep going. And then those times of expansions will be more frequent. They will be happier. And even when those down moments come, they will entirely not throw you off. They won't. So my friends, you have a July 4th week this week. Tomorrow is a matter of fact. And what I want to do is to wish you a very happy 4th of July. And I'm saying happy with great caution because I mean happy. I don't mean happy 4th of July just like that, as many of us have come to say it. But I really mean a bubbly happy in the midst of your contraction, that happy, that you can go and find that source inside of you that's going to keep you going, even though things may not feel like it. My gosh, I know that times can be tough. And that sometimes you can look at your circumstance and go, what is the worth of all this? I don't even see the value. But there is a value. Your life has purpose. You are here for a purpose. And I invite you to find that purpose and to do that purpose alongside your job or your business. If you feel like whatever you're doing you're not passionate about, find what that passion is and find a way to do it. It doesn't have to be as a business, even though it's better doing it as a business, but find that passion and do it and live it. And my friends, find the most fulfilled, joyous expression of your life by serving others and by reaching out and being there for them. And by doing so, you will give yourself a tremendous blessing so that you can continue to live your life the way that you want. I'm going to tune out for now, but I hope that my discussion for today on contraction and expansion has opened your eyes so that you can see that that's what life is all about. And when the contracted moments come, find a way to express yourself. Find a way to do something that keeps you happy. But first, be in the moment to be with that feeling, be with that emotion until it dissipates. That is the most powerful way from which to live your life. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Dr. Gwen, empowering lives to live purposefully and passionately. Love you guys.